Welcome.
Okay, I'd like to call a special meeting for the Board of Commissioners to order at 4 o'clock on October 26th on a Zoom platform. And we'll start by the work session for our 2022 budget. This is strictly a budget meeting. And we have some guests. So hi, do you want to introduce yourself or have any questions?
I'm here to say hi to everybody and just, I'm on the PRCAC. So if I didn't show up at meetings like this, I'd be irresponsible. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Lynn, anything?
Just glad to be here. I'm here eavesdropping.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I think at this point, we'll just turn it over to the chief and let him get started. How's that?
Okay, sounds good. Penny and I met a couple weeks back and we went over the 2022 budget projections based on what we've had expenditures in 2021. So the difficulties we've had in 2021 is we've spent some additional monies on some of our older vehicles, getting them up to par with some maintenance issues that were not foreseen, obviously. So we're going to go into the projections, and if any of the commissioners have any questions as we go along, please bring them up. And obviously nothing of decision-making capability or final approval of this budget is going to be done today. That'll be done in our regular meeting in November. It'll be represented with any changes that are recommended today in November's meeting, and then potentially approved at that meeting. This is strictly a workshop to go over the line budget items and the divisions within the 2022 budget. So I'm going to step aside here and share my screen. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Good.
Okay. So this year, we got the 1% back, and it actually, the 1% is not a true 1%. It's actually 0.62118% that we can increase our budget by law over the previous year. That was voted in by taxpayers some time ago. In a way, that definitely hurts us in our ability to increase taxes for future expenditures, capital expenditures. And so we go with it. So the 1% actually equals the 0.62118. It's the amount of $3,895.17. So the 2021 levy was $627,063.70. So the total increase in the previous year levy. So we have $630,958.87. We project an additional revenue, which I'll go over, of $22,800 to the organization, which gives us a projected 22 funding, okay, of $653,758.87. The budget that you'll see here in moments equals $638,001. So if all was spent out of the 2022 budget, remaining from the projected funding would be $15,757.87. The projected 2022 funding does not include, and Patty, let me know that I say this correctly, does not include new housing taxes. Is that correct, Patty?
Correct. Any new construction is not added in at this time. They don't have those numbers. And so with every year, it's kind of an add-on towards the end of the year.
So that would not be added into my 2022 budget once approved. This also doesn't include any back taxes. Patty, do you have any idea of how much in taxes has not been paid at this point?
Uh,
2020?
Yeah, let me check based on last month's reconciliation. Give me just a moment. I'll pull that up.
Okay, so I'm going to continue while Patty's looking that up. So again, the 1% levy increase this year is actually at 0.62118, and equaling around $3,800. Add that to the levy that we had in 21, 627,000 and change. That increases that to 630,958 plus the 22.8 that we project in other revenue. I'll go over that in a moment. Gives us a total funding of 2022 without the housing, the new construction of 653,758. The projected budget for 2022 is $638,001. And that would leave us, if everything was spent, 15,757 to go into capital reserve. Does anybody have any questions about this projection?
Do you have any anticipated idea about how much new construction may bring in?
We average around 3,000. That's what we project.
Okay.
We don't, again, 3,000 is something we just, that's a number that we put out there. It's been around that in the past years, so we leave it at 3,000. It may be more. The new construction, we haven't had any new multi-unit home areas built. There is one that is designated to go up in 2022 over off Marine Drive, and that's going to have anywhere from 15 to 19 homes on it. We do have built into our capital facilities plan, they have to pay us fees for those buildings before they can break ground and start construction. And those fees are approximately around $14,000 that they'll pay for those homes before they start. And then after those homes obviously are built, then we get the taxes from those homes. The projection, let's say Seabright was built out, and I think there was supposed to be 56 homes in Seabright. That would have only brought in another around $20,000 to $30,000 into the agency, 56 homes. So, you know, new construction does not bring in a lot of funds to the district. Just to let you know, a lot of people think, well, you're going to get a lot of money from that project, and it's actually not that much to really change the necessities of our capital facilities plan.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have that amount, Chief, if you were wanting that.
Yeah,
Currently,
please.
uncollected previous year's taxes equal $37,305.
So we're missing $37,000 from people who have not turned in their tax receipts from 21. Is that correct, Patty, so far?
That actually stems
Is that 2019 or 2020 as well?
Yeah, there's like $23 from 2017, $122 from 2018, and then 2019, there's an outstanding balance of $13,400. 2020 is $23,566.
So all of those added together are 37,000.
Yes, and usually it trickles in slowly throughout the year.
So amazing enough, some people wait until their properties actually put up for auction, or they're given that notice that their property is going to be put up for auction, and then they go in, and the day before that happens, they pay off their taxes, so their properties don't go up for auction. Looking back for taxes in 2018, 2019, it may be difficult to recover those if those haven't been paid already at this point. So, you know, people choose to pay their taxes and not pay their taxes for particular reasons. We also have our mill rate goes up and down depending on how many taxpayers we do have and those that get tax breaks. So some people can get, I don't know what, it's not a tax break per se, but it's a tax coupon, and they can get deductions on their taxes depending on what they're bringing home as in a yearly salary. So that reduces it, but it increases it for everybody else. So that's just a reminder. It's a kind of a short way to explain it, but you know, every every dollar we have sitting out there, continues to hurt this agency's ability to move forwards in capital expenditures that are necessitated for emergency services. Give me 1 second. That's not the one I want. Can everybody see that? So going back to what we stated earlier, this is the 2021 budget, the 627,000. The new budget with the 0.62% increase brings it to 630,958. We project the hospital district rent's going to be 16,000. Fire service contract fees will gain a 300. Interest on investments is 3,500. And the burn permit sales is roughly 3,000. Sometimes those are more, sometimes those are less. But that gives us that other $22,800 that I stated in additional income. That brings our total budget for income of 653,758.
I'm not seeing your screen properly.
I'm not either. I'm seeing
Files.
a list of documents. Thank you,
Looks
Patty.
like
Oh, are
need
you?
to Click on it, yeah.
Okay, give me a sec. Well, thank you. Yeah, I need to know
Sorry, I
that.
didn't want
Thank
to
you.
interrupt you midstream.
No, well, that's what I needed to know, everybody. So thanks for speaking up. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me see if this will. Now you're all gonna make me share that again. Oh man, I have to go through that again. Okay. All right, now can you see that?
There we go.
Okay, do you have numbers on the right-hand side? Like, do you guys see the 22,800?
Yep.
Okay, so the previous document that I went over, that was very short, showed the 627,000 of 2021, with the 0.62% increase, theoretically the 1%, that brings us to 630,000 and change. Hospital district rent, 16,000. Fire service contract fees, 300, 3,500 on investments for interest. And then we have burn permit sales equating to around 3,000. Usually that's more than 3,000, but we average it out. So anything that these are above, it automatically goes into capital reserve at the end of the year. It's not something that continues to get added to my budget throughout the year. So that's where we get the 22,800 projected of additional income. Brings our complete income to 653,758. That's a change from 2021 of $3,895.17. That's actually the lowest change I think we've had in the last number of years. Talking to Patty, I asked her why the 1% seemed to be pretty low on the 0.62%. And we believe it has something to do with the inflation that we're seeing at this point.
Oh.
So it's actually reducing, but Patty, can you, it's reducing the 1%, but are we gaining that back anywhere else?
Well, all I have is preliminary numbers, right? As far as what the total levy increase will be. So it will be more than we are anticipating, but since Kathy at the county doesn't have all of the numbers this close to year end yet, a lot of times, yeah, that will vary a little bit. I mean, the levy amount will be what it is.
Yeah.
The total amount, including new construction and any adjustments they may make to in our favor, is yet to be seen until the end of the year when she actually emails us the final document to sign.
Right. So we're one of the districts that does this early. We're actually supposed to have it in, as far as my understanding, by November. Some districts don't do that until December. So they're running behind, but they have fuller numbers than what we're able to obtain during this period. I was going to say something else that was on, but I'll come back to it. Legislative division. So if you see a 0 out to the right-hand side, there was no change to that line item for 2022. If you see a negative number, that means we reduced it by that amount. And then if you see a positive number, we actually increased it by that amount. So we'll go through legislative division. First change that we have is the audits. We took $2,500 out of that. We had our audit, I believe, last year. Those payments are paid, or we have one small one outstanding still. Patty, do we have that still outstanding, or are they all fully paid?
Everything is fully paid. It wrapped up at the beginning of this year from last year.
Okay, great. So we don't need any funds put aside for an audit for 2022. Legal didn't change. The next change we have is for insurance. This year it was right around 30,000, 31,000, I think, and we increased that up to 34,000. It's a 3% increase every year. So we're going to be seeing that go on basis. So basically the increase in our insurance eats up the 1% that we get to increase our budget by, almost. So I'm trying to put it in perspective for everyone that may be watching this video at some point, or that's participating in the meeting today. Our 1% already got eaten up in our insurance costs for the district. And the insurance covers everything from volunteer to the station, to all the grounds, to all the apparatus. So it's a huge insurance policy. And I think it went over 3 million this year for projections and protection. And then we had a positive change. We added $500 to election charges because we do have an election that we'll end up paying on in 2022, most likely, for Commissioner Lester for this year in her running to retain her seat. So total increases within that division, the legislative division, was $1,500. So we had an increase in 4,000, but we deducted 2,500. So that's where we get the 1,500 full increase. So 2021 division was 50,000. 2022 for that division is 52,000. So moving on down to the administrative division. So fire chief salary, which was increased to 66.5, that's this year. So that's just carrying over in January in 2022. That was an increase of 3,158, which was again done in 2020. So that increase is not necessarily carrying over, but it's showing on the budget. The assistant fire chief, I'm giving John, it works out to be, I think, a 3.5% raise from 38,110 to 40,000. It's an increase of 1,890. We have finance manager who also got an increase from 13,320 to 13,587, increase 267. The next one is the FICA medical and the left fire chief and assistant chief. So anytime we have a bump in salaries, we have to bump our FICA. Would you like to touch on that, Patty, a little bit and explain those areas?
Oh, yeah. I just increased the amount for the Medicare, which is 0.0145%, and Social Security, which is 6.2%, which applies to the assistant chief. Not you, because you're covered under left, which is also part of that amount.
And the left system, for people that don't know, is law enforcement officers and firefighters retirement system.
Correct.
So the LEOFF, for those that don't know that abbreviation.
Yes.
So there was a slight increase because of Patty's increase for the finance manager. That was $20 for the FICA Medicare. And then Department L&I, we increased that by 200 to cover additional costs if necessary. Going on down to communication tower contract, we added $165 to that. And we have a 3% increase on that every year. So that contract is with Whidbey Telecom. And the agreement that we came up for them to allow us to put our Fire 1 and Fire 2 radio channels on top of that tower, so we could have competent, reliable communications here for dispatch and also communication back to dispatch. If you remember, we did that back in 2014. I think we spent around $70,000 of capital reserves to create our own radio tower here because we were not getting any assistance from FARS, which is a group that we pay into as well. It's communications group, including all of the county departments. And they didn't have the money to assist us because we were missing pages prior to that. And I have to say, it's been a very reliable system for us, but it does cost us some money. Repair and maintenance on that tower, we added 500 to that. Tahoe repair and maintenance, that's my vehicle, we added 250. And then professional organization dues, such as International Association of Fire Service Instructors, International Association of Fire Chiefs, state organizations as well for state fire chiefs organization. I pay into those, so I'm up to date on everything. And we added 100 to that. So the completion of that budget, 201,000 was in 2021. That budget has gone up to 208,692, an increase of 6,800 in that division. Suppression division. First change that we had was to the marketplace. So that allows us to purchase goods from the store for events, volunteers, those types of things, special events as well. Public outreach, firefighter accountability, we added $50 to, that's for pass tags, and those are personal alert safety systems, but name tags, et cetera, for the firefighters. Fuel, we added 500 to because all of us know that fuel cost is going up dramatically at this point. So we added a little cushion there. Hose repair and maintenance and supplies, we added 500 there. SCBA repair and maintenance and supplies. SCBA is our self-contained breathing apparatus. We added 500 there. Hose testing, 300. We have an outside company that comes up to Ferndale. We take all of our hose down to Ferndale when they're here, and they test everything. So that's something we have to do on a yearly basis. With the next one would be dispatch fees. We increased that. So we're charged a fee every time we get a call from our dispatch center. So it's for calls that we end up transporting to the hospital. The non-transports we do not get charged for. It's only the transports. So the more we transport people, because we do get reimbursed for those transports, usually through some type of insurance reimbursement, those fees start stacking up. But we added $300 to that. And a really small ad, specialized emergency response program, which is the hazmat program, we added 50 to that. So for the suppression division, we increased it by $2,700. 2021 was 179. 2022 is going to be 182,600 for a total increase of 2,700 in that budget line item. Suppression training division, so operational supplies, nothing. First change that we had was suppression training material. I added 1,000 to that. We're going to go to a new online platform called Fire Rescue One for 2022, which provides additional online training, like our medical training that we have to go through on EMS Connect to maintain our EMT and paramedic credentials. I'm going on to a new platform. We were with Action Training. I think if some of you might understand, or that Action Training might ring a bell to you, but we're switching over to Fire Rescue One. So I just put some cushion in that area for us to be able to transfer over to that platform. Instructors, I added 250 to live fire training. I added 500. The hope for live fire training in 2022 is that we're going to be able to utilize or come underneath a contract agreement with Delta Fire Rescue for their live fire training facility, which is only about 20-25 minutes away. It's at the airport, Boundary Bay Airport. That is much closer, and it's a really beautiful facility. It would give us different challenges than what we are going through now in our live fire training. And it would save us basically 3 hours of driving down to Bellingham, putting on training, coming back, those types of things. So we'll see if I'm successful with that, but that money will be spent with Delta Fire Rescue if we're successful at getting this accomplished. Professional Recruit Academy, I left that at 8,000. So cost me $4,000 a piece to send someone to fire school in Texas. So that would allow us to send 2 people or 2 new volunteers to fire school. Remember, all the Canadians, they're required to have their fire training already and their credentials. So this would be for any new US person that resides within our community to go to fire school. I don't have a bunch of people knocking down our door from our community. It's just the demographics that we have. I've been asking Linda to become a volunteer firefighter for some time, and she still hasn't. So, and I asked Commissioner Harper as well, but he's a commissioner, so he can't do that either. So Linda's laughing. That's I haven't had any discussion with Linda. I just thought I'd throw her underneath the bus today. Hazardous materials for hazmat training, we added 1,000 to that to bring it up to 2,000. The total increase for the suppression training budget is 2,750. 2021, it was 28,000. 2022, it's going to be 31,000. Maintenance division, moving on. Everybody can still see the form, correct? Okay, no one's speaking up, so I'm assuming that everything's going okay. Miscellaneous small tools and equipment. We left that alone. The first increase that we had was communications and cable TV. We added $50 to that. We provide YouTube TV to the firefighters upstairs. Generator costs, we added 500 to that division. And that's our big generator here at the station. It's getting older and it's costing a little bit more to maintain. So we're looking at in the coming years, I think it's still very strong, but it's a big generator because it runs the entire station. It's, if you've never seen it, it's out behind the fire station, so you can go look at it if you've never seen it. In the coming years, I might be looking into a grant to improve the generator ability and get us a newer one. But as of right now, it's still running good for us. Facility maintenance, station upkeep. We added 500 to that line item. That completes 10,000. Garbage, we added 200 to. So total increases for the maintenance division for 2022, $1,250. So 2021 was 27,900.
This is fire.
It changes to 29,150. So an increase of 1,250. EMS division. So we have an 1,100 increase in the EMS division. Volunteer firefighter EMS, nothing's changed there. So to pay out stipends to our EMTs and paramedics, that's 84,000. Oxygen, we increased by 100. Everything's starting to go up a little bit. Repair and maintenance on our red ambulance, we increased that by 500 to 2,500.
Could you raise the page a little bit? Can't see the bottom. There we go.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Because my view is a little bit different, so I don't know what is cut off for you guys. So thanks for speaking up on that. Battalion 58, which is the red pickup, we increased that maintenance by 500 and brought it to 3,000. So 858, we had a big repair on this year. Battalion 58, we've had some major repairs on. The Tahoe, my chief's vehicle, we've had some repairs on as well. And then engine 58, but that was reimbursed by, all except 500 of it was reimbursed by insurance. So total increase for the EMS division, $1,100. Last year, 21 was 112,000. This year, it's going to be 113,000 and change. So the EMS division for training, EMS training supplies and equipment, I increased that line item by 500 to 2,500. Books and publications for our EMTs and paramedics, I increased that by 200 to 3,200. Nothing else changed, so that gave us an increase of that line to 700 total. So 2021 was 19,500. 22 will be 20,200. So the budget totals, 2021 budget was 621,121. 2022 budget's going to be $638,001. That's a change in $17,880 for the change for 2022. Everything's hitting us really hard. So estimated carryover, if I spent all of that, would be 15,757. And again, the entire funds that we considered that we're going to be bringing in, I don't have the other sheet up, but it would be 658,000. So 653,000.
Hey, Chief,
Yeah.
I apologize. At the bottom of that, it says decrease. That was from last year. It should say increase at the very bottom.
Yeah. So that doesn't have a negative in front of it. So
I also have a question. When you said it out loud, you were writing, you said a 17,000 number I was writing down, and then I looked up and the sheet says 16,800.
Yeah.
So were you just rounding up?
yeah, sorry. So 16,000, you can look at it on the sheet.
Yeah,
So
so that's
16
correct.
Yeah.
16,880. Thank you.
Yeah. And then the 653,000 is the total funds that we consider that we may have coming into the agency in 2022. My full line item budget is 638. So if you take the difference between those two, if I spent all of my 638,000, then we'd have 15,757 and change going into capital reserve. So I'll take any, that really completes the changes that we made to the 2022 budget. I'm happy to take any questions on that. Everybody's good?
Yeah.
Okay. The next document that I'm going to bring up are the documents that have to be signed. And this will be done at the regular meeting as long as there's no changes between now and then. So resolutions that must be put in. Can everybody see this resolution?
Yep.
Patty, do you want to explain this resolution, please?
Yes. Resolution 2021-02. It basically just states the levy increase in dollars and percent. That we will be taking a 1% increase, which equates to 0.62118%, for a total 2022 levy increase in the amount of $3,895.17.
Do we need a motion for that? No, we don't, not today.
No, that'll be for next month. Yeah, we just wanted to show all the preliminary documents.
Good.
Thank you. And then this following resolution 2021-03 will adopt the 2022 budget, and it certifies the tax levy. So in the first paragraph, whereas that the attached exhibit A, which refers to the 2022 budget that will be approved next month, and then also reaffirms, meaning certifying the budget down below, or pardon me, I'm sorry, certifying the levy increase of the 1% for a total levy amount to be put into the district's expense fund of $630,958.87.
I'll send these documents to the commissioners so you can review prior to the November meeting, along with the projected budget and the changes that we went over today. So if you do have anything that you would like to discuss with me independently prior to next meeting, please do so. And then we can have full discussion at the November's meeting on any changes that a commissioner would like to see potentially in the 2022 budget. And make those changes at that meeting so it can be approved and the documents can be signed and sent off to the county.
Good job.
So it's good to see everybody. Does anybody have any questions for us?
Looks good.
Okay, and once this budget is approved in an open public meeting at our regular meeting in November, with any changes that may be forthcoming, then it'll be published online for the public to view as well.
Now, Bill
Thank you.
had his hand up earlier.
Who did?
Bill?
Bill? No, I thought he was saying goodbye.
Well, no,
No.
I just had a quick question, and it's for Patty.
Yes.
And I guess, because I've been listening to Yellen and that group in Washington. And while it seems a long way from us, they talked about transitory versus temporary inflation and the thoughts of inflation going in as far as the end of 2022. So just wondering, in your mind, if you had some line items in there, not only from the supply chain perspective, but more importantly, from a line item that you think would suffer if you had extended inflation, say, running into third quarter 2022, that might have inflation as high as 8 to 9%. It's not, I know, I don't mean to put you on it, or that's not a trick question. I look at and I wring my hands because I don't know how somebody can put a budget together. Because if you give anybody a raise, the raise has already been eaten up last week. So
Right.
I'm just curious if you have any, because it frightens me when I hear a Yellen said, "Oh, I didn't mean I didn't mean stationary, I meant transitory." Well, that's like saying, black and white, or, red and green. So I'm just curious. I noticed you talked about the 1% and such and inflationary things. I was just curious.
Right. And that's difficult to project what that will be. And certainly I think that has a dynamic, an effect on everyone, all the organizations. So we've been, as you can see, with the budget increases, Chief's trying to be very frugal in what increases are put in there to be fiscally responsible.
So-
Chief, I don't have last year's budget in front of me, and I meant to bring that out, but the increases this year seem to be less than last year. Is that true?
No, I think I think we have a bigger increase this year on line
Okay.
items. So just so you know, the cost of apparatus goes up 3% on average in normal times with normal inflation
Right.
on a yearly basis. So if I wait to buy a new truck 6 years from now, it's going to be 18% more expensive than it is today.
No question.
Yeah, and so we see that increase in hoses, in our nozzles, in our appliances, in the basics things that we use on a regular basis. We even see that in our clothing. So to outfit a firefighter today, it's anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 per firefighter to buy them full bunker allotments and helmets, gloves, hoods, and those types of things. So it's important for the public to understand the cost for an emergency services agency such as a fire department that we're extending and trying to maintain our responsibility to the public to be responsible for the monies that we spend and to put us away as much as we possibly can in the capital reserve at the end of the year. So obviously I don't spend everything out of my budget every year. November becomes a big month for us to finish up projects and to get anything done prior to the new budget going into effect. And we normally have an additional 20 to 30,000 from the bottom line that we, 22, we said we'd have 15,000 less. Well, on average in the last years, we've had, 20,000 or 30,000 plus. We have ambulance transport reimbursements that are added into that too. So hopefully we're able to, put at least 50,000 into capital reserve, but that is not guaranteed, at the end of the year, because in my emergency obligations, if I need to spend the $638,000, I'll spend that to serve this community and to make sure my firefighters have the equipment and the utilities necessary to perform their jobs.
That's good, Chief. I just had one other question. You talked about that generator.
Mm-hmm.
is there any way you could work something out where you get that maybe in, within a few years, you get a new generator that you amortize the expense on it? I mean, it's still a real expense, but there's some accounting thing you could maybe do to make it a little easier or a little more palatable, because you don't want to go short on having power for the station. I mean, that's, I'm glad you're keeping and making sure that thing is running. But I understand it, because when I used to work at my building, we used to have a large generator just like that. That was the first thing, because we all had, the entire building was filled with computers. So that, it came online. So is there any way you could find a way to amortize that expense? Just thinking about it, that's all.
Sure. The desire would be that it would be paid by an AFG grant. So FEMA, the government would buy us a new, and those are high priority
Right, yeah.
items for station power. So I think we would be very, it would be a high probability that we would receive a grant for a new generator. But
Good.
Chief Shields can speak to how it's been maintained, what we've had to do this year on it. But it's still a strong generator. So I'll turn it over to Chief Shields.
Good.
Yeah, so it's maintained every year, and that actual generator, we actually did get on a FEMA grant, and it's an 80 kilowatt generator. Basically, we're probably not even using 50% of its capacity running the station when it's fully open. We have every light, every truck plugged in. We're running all the appliances and everything that we have here. We're probably maybe running 50% of its capacity at any one time, but we spend about $1,500 a year for maintenance on it, and every 5 years is a major maintenance where they change all the fluids, all the hoses, all the belts, the batteries, the block heaters. Basically, they go take almost the whole thing apart except for the generator assembly itself, and basically replace everything every 5 years.
Good. No, I'm looking at your budget, Chief. It's great. The work you guys do is just outstanding, and everything's in front of God and country. So good for you, and good for the way you maintain expenses, yet keep this place safe. And a lot of people forget that. So with that in mind, just let me know sometime if somebody isn't paying their taxes. I'll be happy to help you. You know what I'm saying?
I think we need to take that conversation offline and not have it recorded on the meeting, because I know you have friends in Jersey that might be able to help out with that.
In high places and low places.
So, yeah. Go ahead, Patty.
I just wanted to go back to addressing Virginia's question about this year's budget. So since we were for 2022, 2021's budget was actually a decrease of $1,400 over 2020, but that was also because even though we had increases to the budget for 2021, we were just finishing our 4-year audit in 2020. So for the 2021 budget, we had reduced that audit line item from 10,000 down to 2,500. So that decreased the overall budget of 7,500, which, as you know, normally we get audited every 3 years. So if you look at that, it's really,
Thank you.
an increase, but yeah.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody for their hard work, for Patty, for Linda, all the commissioners and stuff like that for supporting our budgets. And I look forward to any conversation that you would like to have between now and the November's meeting, obviously independently, and then bringing those concerns to an open public meeting and discussing that for any type of changes that you would like to see and agree upon for the 2022 budget. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. I think it's very important, through this process as well, to bring light to the public on how much things do cost, how much emergency services, provide the community, and at what cost to the taxpayer in return. So we're doing the best we possibly can. In 2022, the first quarter, we'll also be looking at this budget, but we'll be comparing that to our capital facilities plan to see, and working with the county again to see if we're on track with our capital facilities plan that is currently posted on our website, if we're ahead, if we're doing better than we thought we were going to be doing, or if we're behind. And that'll bring up further discussions at that point.
Any more questions of the chief? Excellent job. Thank you so much, Chief, for all the effort you put into this. And I think, adding to all the responsibility that has been taken on by you and the firefighters with COVID is something this community really has benefited from, and that doesn't show up in a budget.
Well, obviously it's a huge team, and some of those team members are on this meeting today. And I want to thank everybody in the community as have in the past that has participated, helped us do the testing in the vaccination clinics and everything else. So thanks to everybody that's helped and volunteered, and all of you who are here on this meeting for supporting it.
Be of assistance. It's a good thing here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Commissioner.
Anything else? If not, shall we adjourn at 4:47 p.m.?
Second that.
Yeah, I second that.
Thank you. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all
Okay.
for coming.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Bye.